Hello, everybody, guys, dolls, wrestling fans, whoever you are. Welcome in. It's Wheezy Blonde. I am here with fellow creator, wrestling fan, Deporticus. Did I say it right?
You absolutely did.
Deporticus. Can I call you Josh, or am I just sticking with Deporticus?
Absolutely call me Josh. I love being called my name.
Okay, cool.
Josh is fine.
This is Josh. This is Josh. Josh is also a fellow Detroit Lions fan, as well as other Detroit sports. He is a 2-year fan of professional wrestling. He started watching around 2 years ago. Is that correct? Are we past that point now? Are we going on 3?
39 was the first show.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Crazy. He boasts over 14,000 subscribers on the YouTube in such a short amount of time. He also slays it on the Patreon, giving custom content to the people. He is also the husband of a lady that I enjoy, Miss Tolly, and they also have a cute little doggy that I also like seeing pictures of as well. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today. I appreciate it. How are you doing in general?
I'm great. I haven't gotten an intro like that before. That was sick. That was cool. But I'm doing great though. It's a pleasure to be here. You've been a channel that I got into early on before I was making content. Actually, I believe the cycle was Santi was like for like learning, and then yours were for like watching like with someone and hearing like someone just kind of like talk like a person, like watching along and just kind of not really like announcing it, but like kind of voicing what I was thinking, kind of validating my early thoughts of like, I think is that normal? And then you'd say it and it was like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But it's crazy that 2 years later, here I am and we get to chat like this.
I let the intrusive thoughts flow. I think that's a good way to differentiate me and someone like Santi that is just, he's so smart and says, the most analytical things. And I'm over here like, Snake Man, I'm an absolute goof. I'm an absolute goon. But the reason that I came and sat down with you today is because I'd reached out to you. I'd made the decision, like a little over a month ago, that I was going to start watching AEW again. I stopped watching like 2.5 years ago. And I wanted the perception of someone that watches the program, not just, AEW, but wrestling in general, but doesn't have the lore of watching from the very beginning when it launched, that doesn't have the lore of, excuse the way that I'm going to say this, everybody, but the mind has not been tainted by the juices of the fountain that the IWC drinks from. Let me tell you, he's very refreshing to talk to. Trust me. So I just wanted to pick your brain about your experience with it, what you think, the product, and kind of just see where our conversation flows from there. Are you down?
I'm excited. We're getting there on the being tainted by the internet, though. We're making progress. You guys are relentless. We're close, but maybe not totally there yet.
Well, I wanted to kind of start there too, because you had posted something the other day where you said that the honeymoon phase was over. You said the honeymoon phase was over. Did you post a YouTube video about this?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about that? What is causing the honeymoon phase to be over? Where is your excitement faltering when it comes to pro wrestling?
So it wasn't necessarily for pro wrestling. So okay. It was specifically for WWE, because that's where I had started watching. I didn't watch AEW probably closer to a year and a half into watching wrestling, something like that. And I think it's just the rose tinted glasses kind of coming off. It's back when it was fresh and everything was so new. I feel like I wasn't really able to criticize much because I didn't have anything to compare it to. So everything felt brand new. Everything felt really fresh and cool and nice. And then now that I've kind of developed a baseline, I've watched a lot of alternatives, like you mentioned, the Patreon. So not even just AEW and WWE, but I've seen a lot of content from like New Japan, Stardom, some a lot of indies as well. Now that I have so much to compare it to, there's a lot more. I don't want to say to criticize, but I see a lot of the issues that I think I know what I like more. Maybe that's a better way to phrase it. I think I've learned more what I prefer, what I don't. And it's not that I don't prefer WWE. It's that I do prefer going to shows. And that's tough to do now with WWE. And that was kind of the tipping point of like, okay, maybe this isn't quite for me if like the tickets are going to be this expensive. Like, and I know me and Tally like to we like to go to things. Like we like to go to baseball games, we like to go to hockey games, go to football games, and now go to wrestling shows. So when you always go with two people, that price is always doubled. And that was kind of one of the main points of, yeah, you just can't really afford to do it anymore. And it really has changed just in the last couple of years. Because even before I was, getting any help from the content, being able to afford it, we were able to afford to go to the SummerSlam Detroit. That was our first wrestling show that we had ever attended. And it was definitely, compared to now, affordable by comparison. So that was like the big thing where kind of I stepped back a little bit. And when I only started watching on TV and I no longer had the thrill of being excited to go to the event, once that kind of got removed, I don't want to say I became more critical, but I started to just kind of notice by only watching the TV product, like, maybe it's not quite registering with me like it used to. Maybe the things that used to draw me in, those storylines are over. Maybe that's not my favorites. Before I had a favorite style of wrestling, maybe now this isn't my favorite style of wrestling. So it's really just a matter of learning and kind of developing what my preferences are. I don't hate it. I still love wrestling. And I still watch WWE. I keep up with, like, I watched Crown Jewel. That was, I'm glad I got up for that. That was really,
it was so fun. I was so glad I got up.
Yeah, I
breakfast and wrestling.
Times. I hit snooze a couple times, and I almost said I'd watch it later, but I'm really glad I watched it live. But yeah, I've kind of taken a step back on watching weekly and keeping up with it live. Sometimes I'll watch on a delay so I can skip through things that I'm not as interested in. Sometimes I'll just catch the highlights, which is crazy because it never used to be that way. It used to be I could never miss an episode. Every PLE. Every single weekly show, I was catching random, and even NXTs from time to time back then. But yeah, that's kind of where that video was kind of highlighting of, I think the phase of they can do no wrong and this is amazing, everything's awesome, to, okay, I don't love everything, apparently, yeah. which was a criticism early. This guy just likes everything. Well, everything was new and shiny.
Oh no, they tell me that too, but they don't watch my stream. So I had a great time last night. Do you feel like you were at any point forcing yourself to watch weekly because of any kind of presence that you had on the internet? Did that come into play at all?
Yeah, it did get to a point where once I developed the habit, because I started by only streaming the PLEs and the pay-per-views of both shows, and I don't know, I don't remember why I decided I was going to start doing it. I think it was because, like, after maybe a big show, maybe it was a Mania, or I don't know, maybe there was like big shows that had happened. You know what? It might have been the build up to the last WrestleMania where I was like, stuff is supposed to be happening. Like, this is big.
Yeah,
like,
the build up to 41.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of developed the habit of doing the weekly shows. And then after a while, I think it did become a little bit chore feeling, and less like I was excited to watch wrestling, which probably contributed to that video. I'm not gonna lie.
No, for sure. I agree. I've noticed a lot of people that started watching in the build up to WrestleMania 40 currently are having a lot of because there is a lot of ebb and flow when it comes to wrestling. It's almost like soap operas, because it is. I mean, it is a soap opera just with physicality and different kind of entertainment. But it's on weekly. It's on weekly, and
no off season.
There has to be the lulls. There has to be low moments because they got to keep momentum and they got to keep it going. You got to appreciate the highs when they're here, and you can kind of bow out on some of the lows. You don't have to be 100% in on all of it. I've definitely kind of done a lot more of the same, and I'm so much happier doing that. And I am a creator full time now. This is my full thing. And I even am now in streams, or I'll go live on TikTok. You just mentioned this earlier. People roll up in my chat and they're, oh, what do you think about this? Do you think that Seth's really injured? Do you think that Braun did you think he turned on him too soon? Do you think this? Do you think this? And I'm always just, I don't think. I try to think as minimally as possible. I want to watch, I want to consume, and then I want to give you what I'm thinking. I want to give you what I'm thinking about what actually occurred, not coming up with hypothetical situations that I don't know are actually going to occur, because it's wasting my energy, and I only have so much of that. But no, it's okay.
What I've noticed with questions like that, sometimes it feels like I think at first I was kind of excited to get those questions because I wanted to talk about it. But after a while, I started to notice a lot of, not everyone, but there's definitely a lot of people that ask those questions with the intent to debate you. And I didn't come here for like, I didn't bring source material. I didn't bring evidence. You asked me a question. I said, no, I don't think so. I was like, well, I saw this tweet and this person said this. I'm like, oh, you just wanted to argue. Like, okay, I don't, sure. Then that's fine. I wasn't ready for that. But I think there's some ill intent or some bad faith questions with those. So I get why I've kind of adopted a little bit of your like, don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Let's find out.
They want to get you with the gotcha. Like,
yep.
You're wrong. Yep. Well, circling back to you started watching 2 years ago. Okay, we're feeling the honeymoon phase ending right now. But when you first started watching, what was your knowledge of professional wrestling? You didn't watch it all when you were a kid. What was your perception of wrestling? Fans of wrestling as a whole? Did you have thoughts about that?
Man, my dog's licking himself like crazy.
Oh no!
I tried ignoring it, but it's getting like
someone's mowing the lawn around here, so that's just woohoo.
Okay. So my very first impression of any sort of pro wrestling was N64 WrestleMania 2000. It was a video game.
Uh-huh.
And it was like a black cartridge. I didn't own it. My friend owned it, brought it over every single day. And he got to a point where he said, like, hey, I only play this here. I'll just leave it here. And then over time we lost touch, and I still have it somewhere. I have to dig
kidding.
it up as like a relic somewhere. But I like to bring that up as my first impression because that was what made me aware that what, visually wrestling, it looks like this. But I didn't watch any of it on TV. It was never on in the house. Nobody in my family watched it. Mm-hmm. I played that game. It was a fighting game to me. It was like playing Mortal Kombat. I didn't see it as like I'm playing pro wrestling. This is just a fighting game. Yeah. And this is just a way.
Mashing, like, let's go.
Yeah. And it's like, and it came off like super fictional. There's fire, there's pyro, there's blood and whatever. So it's like, it felt like it fit in with these other things. Growing up, I went from vaguely kind of, knowing that it existed, but completely writing it off as like, oh, that's fake. Like that's the fake wrestling thing. That's the fake fighting thing. And I guess as I got a little bit older, I want to say that I understood a little bit more because I went a long time thinking wrestling fans thought it was real. And okay. I think that was the disconnect of like, how can they be so dumb? Like, obviously, you can see it's not hitting. These people are losing their minds over this. Yeah, I'm so much smarter than these people. I can see the fist isn't hitting it. And
no, people do think that. Yeah.
Yeah, I truly do think that's where a big disconnect of people not giving wrestling a chance is. I think I know this wasn't really your question, but like that's what I think of because that for me, I kind of compare it almost to like to Magic, which is kind of it's a weird comparison. Oh. But if you know, some people just like defensive, they don't want to be tricked. And so you try to, I had a Magic phase back in high school. So that's where I kind of compare it to it.
I love it.
I would do card tricks. For some people would just be like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. Oh, how did you? And then other people are like, let me see this. Nope. I can see, you're doing this. Hold on. Let me check it. So there's people who want to be entertained by something like that. And there's other people that are so scared to feel like they were tricked that they're preventing themselves from enjoying something.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's where I think if more people just knew, hey, these people aren't trying to trick you. They're trying to entertain you. If they could, bridge that gap of an issue, I think a lot more people would get into wrestling even earlier than I did. Because I went I assume by like my late high school. It's hard for me to answer this because like I wasn't thinking about wrestling, so I don't remember what my perception was. Like nobody was talking
having to dig into something that wasn't on your radar at that point is kind of
I have no idea. If you would have asked me like,
for sure.
18, 19, I probably would have said John Cena, like Undertaker, like that would have been my that's those guys. And I would have to imagine by like at least my 20s, I would have understood that people knew it wasn't real, but I still had no interest because nobody in my circle had interest. No. So it was just a luck of, I think it was because I had Peacock for free. through like my internet, and they were advertising the heck out of WrestleMania, and like you can watch it right now. It's on right now.
Was this WrestleMania? Was this WrestleMania 40?
39.
39. Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
They said that was your
I'm
first
so
one.
glad it wasn't 40 because I would not have appreciated it as much as I did. 40 was amazing.
No, I feel bad for everyone that did.
So like 39 was a yeah, you're right actually. But 39, yeah, we just turned it on. It was me, Tal. We were in a Discord call with like a few friends. And these friends, a couple of them used to watch wrestling, and they've been out of it for so long because they said like the 2010s were like so bad or something that they just didn't watch anymore.
Yeah.
And then yeah, that like we all just kind of as a group, we got into it for the first time. They got into it, and that was the whole like first year of watching. Was no content, just like learning and just watching.
Oh, this new exciting thing, and there's no short supply of finding things to catch up on or watch. I mean, gosh, there's so much. So yeah, you just for a year dive in of all of this.
Yeah, so I guess I never felt anything negative about it when I wasn't watching it. I guess the only negativity was I just thought the people watching it were dumb when I was little because I didn't know any better. And then like as I got older, yeah, that obviously changed. But that was like my stupid thought of like, yeah, I can't believe these people are falling for this. But
I have to just say too, the magician analogy, it doesn't just apply to people that aren't fans and judge wrestling fans. It really applies to actual fans, depending. I think it is a lot of newer fans that feel this way, but there is such an obsession. And I only know this because this is what I do for a living and people want to talk at me all the time. There is an obsession of wanting to find the gotcha, of wanting to find out how the trick is done, how the move is done. Is this a work? Is this not a work? Is this real? Is this not real? There's such an obsession with it. And I don't know where it comes from. I understand wanting to know things, but I don't need to know. And I always make that real clear. It's just kind of like, it doesn't help me either way knowing whether this was real or not. I just want to be entertained as long as people are okay at the end of the day. I'm not going to speculate on whether someone's actually hurt or not. That just feels icky. Yeah, I just don't want to do that.
Yeah, especially if you have a platform, I've always felt like it's irresponsible to push something like as personal as like an injury that you don't know anything about,
or pregnancy.
Right. So like talking about that and spreading it. Yeah. I feel like it can be kind of innocent when it's just like three dudes on the couch talking, whatever. But when you have a platform and a bunch of people are listening and they might hear that, and now you're a source to them and now they're going to spread it. Yeah. So
especially when you're reporting it as like news or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when even if the video is framed as like question mark, you're still like, that's not an out. Like, could it be? I'm just asking questions. That's not an out. You can't just be.
Like, why are we asking this question? We'll find out. Like, it's
know why you're asking.
When did AEW come into the picture? So you saw 39 that whole year. You were elbows deep in wrestling. When did AEW come into the picture?
When my community would not stop telling me to check it out.
The sickos.
It was Double or Nothing. It must have been 2024. It had to be. It would have been 2 Double or Nothings ago. That was insane. It was I got introduced to Darby Allin on that show.
I'm gonna laugh a lot. I'm just gonna forewarn you. I think it's so any AEW is just so fun to me. I laugh a lot. So I'm not laughing at you.
It was insane. I didn't live stream it. It's one of those things where I wish I would have been. I would have loved to have seen my initial reaction. I made a video on it, but like, actually, yeah, if you go back and find that video, I remember being like super giddy about it. And like, dude, this dude got lit on fire. And then he super kicked someone, but he had like spikes on his shoes. And I kid you not, he hit him with his car in the parking lot. Like that all actually happened. All of that happened on that show. And then there was like, I think that's when they did like the anarchy in the arena. So there's fighting and music playing. They're going ever. I remember watching this, and I had been at that point, I would have been watching WWE, I guess, for like a year plus at that point. And I remember thinking like, I've never seen anything like this before. Like this is like a completely different version of all of it. It was so memorable. I remember that show. And I wouldn't say I got hooked on it right away. I remember thinking like, wow, that was a lot. But I don't think I could watch that like all the time. but like then you watch and you learn, okay, it's not like that all the time. That's a big event kind of thing. And I only watched the pay-per-views for a while.
Okay.
I just kind of checked in the pay-per-views because it was like watching a car crash every time. It was like, I don't know what's going on, but this is super entertaining.
It's literally me every time. I'm not even kidding you, because I was the same way. I would watch so many of the pay-per-views. They were always so good. I think I watched the first World's End. I'm sorry, Forbidden Door. Forbidden Door was one of the first ones that I'd watched in a while, and I was just, I think they're so great. And then the weekly, I get lost just because it is framed so different, but it's so fun. Mm-hmm. There's just so much crazy stuff that happens. Who was it that got their thumbtacks in their feet the other night? There was a couple weeks ago.
Marina
Shafir.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh my gosh, it really can be so much fun. Did you experience, because I know that I just started watching again and I experienced it reacting to it. Did you get a lot of pushback from any audience when you started? Did anyone try to sway you on how you should feel of like, oh, this is terrible, wow, this isn't real wrestling?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Early on, yes. So my audience has vastly changed since I started.
Really?
It was very WWE focused early on because obviously that was all I was making content on.
Right.
And then as I started doing I would do like the watch parties for the AEW pay-per-views. I don't know where all these viewers were coming from because I didn't have like a bunch of AEW content. So I don't know if there just wasn't a lot of people doing watch parties for AEW when I first started doing it. And that was just kind of standing out.
Yep.
But I was getting like numbers that I was never seeing before with WWE. And I think a lot of those people stayed. And over time, because my interests have changed, so my content has shifted more toward AEW. It is so much different now. It's like mostly AEW people. I shouldn't say mostly, but it feels like it. At least those are like the vocals. So early on, it was so many WWE. Yeah, there was a lot of there would be a lot of comments that would, I don't even want to say a lot of them, but like
you don't have
it was
to.
A lot of comments. Yeah, it was a lot of comments.
I know, and I'm sure everyone else says we've seen it.
Yeah, it was a lot of comments saying really, really mean stuff to not even just me, which is crazy because like I was saying, hey, I found this thing, I like it, it's cool. You suck. Like, what did I do? Like,
no, I hate that though because it's like, hey guys, I found this thing and I really like it. Like this is this new thing and it's so cool to me. You know, when you actually like something and people just try to like extinguish your flame of like that's not. Why you gotta do that?
Turns out, I guess you don't actually like wrestling. You just like violence. I'm like,
this isn't really wrestling.
Okay. Like, yeah. And so early on, there was pushback on that, but it was never from people it was never from names I recognized. And I think that was what was important. Because I remember a lot of names in my chat early on when there wasn't very many people watching at all. And it never felt like some people who like, pretended to like the content or pretended to like the channel and now they switched up. So it made me feel better that it was always like first time chatter or it was always some random commenter that I've never heard of or seen before. Because then I know it's not like the community like turning on you or something like that. It was just some people that got fed your stuff in the algorithm and they hate, that they just hate watch things or they hate comment on things.
Makes them feel good.
So like, yeah, there was pushback, but I didn't feel like there was pushback from anybody that mattered. So it it didn't really sway me at all.
That part. That's the beautiful thing about doing what you want to do. It's so much more organic and it hits so much better when you're watching something, whether you're a creator or not, but you're putting your energy into something that you actually like. And if it's the kind of wrestling that you like, if it's the kind of anything that you like, you're going to love doing it so much more. And that passion is going to show to other people and other people are going to gravitate towards you because they can see that you actually really like this thing. And it's fun to see other people enjoy something that you enjoy. It's also fun for some people to bash on something that they hate and also want to bash on. But we can't take it, overly personal. That's what I've learned in all of my journeys. You had mentioned at the beginning of your journey with AEW that Darby Allin stood out to you. I love Darby. He's crazy. Were there any other wrestlers from AEW or big moments that stood out for you that really had you? Like they really had you? Were there any that come to mind?
Tony Storm.
What was that?
Let's talk about Toni Storm.
Let's talk about Toni Storm.
She is phenomenal. She is the best performer I have seen on any entertainment medium ever. I have never seen someone so engulfed in their character that I'm not entirely sure if they remember they're not the character anymore. Like they
are one now.
She is so talented. And I think growing up a theater kid, I latched onto her immediately. I don't know. It was just partially because the character kind of leans into that theater feel. Yes. But it was how different she was than everything else in wrestling, at least that I was seeing. And it stood out so much, like to have the courage to be so different than everything else, because that's scary to do something different than everyone else, because there's no validation that it's going to work. There's not much validation that it's going to last. So seeing someone put 110% in this thing that looks nothing else like anything else I was seeing on either show I was watching, and seeing it be so getting so much support, her just be so passionate about it, and see that it's not just a character, and she's also super talented in the ring. She's just great in ring as well. I got hooked. I was like, I don't know any of her story yet, but like she's sick. She's awesome. I need to see so much of her, and I got to meet her.
When did you meet her?
So cool. All In Texas. She's so nice.
She's lovely.
Yeah, she keeps the, I don't know how, again, she keeps the character all the time. So it was cool that you got to kind of like interact with, I forget her butler's name. She has a butler that he's not really on TV so much anymore. Like, is it Luther or something?
It might be Luther. I think it is.
Yeah. So they were there together, and it's that up straight, back first, chest out. Like, I don't, there's something about constantly maintaining that character that is so different. And then it was her storyline with Mariah May.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen that.
I have.
That was incredible, and it made me really excited for Mariah May to come over to the show at the time when the rumors were happening. I was more focused on WWE. Now that I'm more focused on AEW, I'm like,
the gang. She's gone.
So that was probably like the big feud that I completely fully latched onto first. But Toni Storm was by and large, like, that was like what got me. She was my bloodline when I started watching WWE. The bloodline was my seed of like, I don't know anything else, so I'll tune in for SmackDown. I'll wait for the bloodline segment. I'll watch everything else. And so as I'm waiting for the one thing I want to see, I'm seeing a little bit of everything else. I'm kind of learning this. Okay, maybe I kind of like that. Maybe I kind of like them too. Oh, Bailey, she seems pretty dope.
That's what gets you in and introduces you to other things that are on the show.
Toni Storm was my bloodline. That was my, like, maybe I want to watch more than the pay-per-views. Like, she's pretty dope. Absolutely.
I wasn't watching, obviously, Dynamite Weekly. I wasn't really watching AEW at that point, but I knew what Toni Storm was doing. That's how good it was. That's how good she is that it was coming across my algorithms. It was coming across my feeds. People were asking me about it. It's just like Joe Hendry. There are things that transcend their actual brand or their niche of wrestling that pops up on your feed and it catches your interest. And I knew Toni from when she was with WWE. I know Toni from working wrestling conventions. And so all of a sudden I see the Toni that I know on TV in black and white, and she's throwing a shoe at someone, and she's cuddling this beautiful, and I knew who Mariah May was as well. I was familiar with her, and I see her cuddling Mariah May in her chest, and Toni, what the hell are you doing? And so that
blood and it's
next thing I know, I'm seeing clips. People are like, you've got to watch their match. I don't even know where it was, where they both basically annihilated each other and they're covered in blood. I'm like, sure, got it, cool.
The Hollywood ending, it's so good.
Betting on yourself, to that point, betting on yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. And sometimes it will work and sometimes it won't. But when you actually have it, and I think it's interesting also that you say it as well, because not to gas you up, but you are someone that I think also has taken that route in the things that you do. The way you make content, the way you talk about things, it's not popular to think or talk about wrestling in a nonchalant way. We are surrounded by professionals and people that are very analytical about it. And when you watch something like a Toni Storm and Mariah May, can just be like, this is good. Like, yeah, hell yeah, girl. Like, please. Like,
it's inspiring.
Yeah. Like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I love this. This is amazing. People have a hard time with that. They're like, well, no, you need to be really analyzing this. What do you mean? Like, well,
that's a them problem. I'm enjoying. I like this way of watching better.
That part. I get a lot of people that are like, why do they think this? Or why are they this? And I said that, well, you got to ask them. It's not my responsibility to know why they think what they think or why they feel what they feel. All I know is how I feel and how I think. And I think Toni Storm is a lovely, lovely lady. I do love about her also from working wrestling conventions. I don't know if you've ever witnessed her do an interview. She's in it. And she also she also remembers people. My friend Malcolm, she's done multiple interviews with. And she just is like, why do you always ask me this? I don't. And she's not afraid to be, enough
of the waffles.
I can appreciate it so much. It's so creative. And those are the things that stand out. They really are. They're kind of special, very special moments.
She's Rhea in a way. I've seen people who don't watch wrestling now. They're like, I've seen Rhea Ripley on my feed.
Everybody.
Everybody seems to, it's kind of like, I wonder if Rhea Ripley's kind of being that, what was for me, like, oh, I know who Undertaker is. Like, I've seen, that's a classic known thing. So, I could see that being something over time.
I did interviews at Comic-Con right before WrestleMania and was having people that don't know anything about wrestling predict the winner just based on the posters. And everybody knew Rhea Ripley. Everybody knew Rhea Ripley. Oh, I know Rhea Ripley. They knew Rey Mysterio. They knew Rhea Ripley. And John Cena.
It's good branding.
Yeah.
Very recognizable too.
She really is being unique and having that unique look. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Is there anything, so you Darby and Toni, that you latched onto, is there anything that you, and it's okay if you don't, but I'm just curious if there's anything that you would change or anything you wish you knew when you first started watching that you wish you knew now?
Not necessarily. I think the only thing I would change is maybe I would have gotten into it like a year sooner. And it's only because I feel like I really missed out on another chunk of that bloodline story that ever initially hooked me with like the Sammy part of the storyline and that whole betrayal.
That's right. I forget how long that went. I forget how long that actually went on.
Yeah. So like seeing, I remember the community has shown us on like the Patreon, we've seen the trial of Sami Zayn where they like, so like that era of like, it just seemed fun. Like, I think that's something I would have really appreciated early on when the in-ring didn't matter to me. Like I did, like now I feel like I've gravitated more to a lot of in-ring talent stuff. Early on, I would have gravitated to all that, like the family drama, like a pure soap opera with some, fighting scenes off on the side. But other than that, I'm so, people ask like, oh, do you wish you would have gotten into it as a kid? I mean, I have such an unfun answer to all that kind of question. Cause I'm like, I'm so grateful for so many memories and so many things that I've gotten to do now. I'd be terrified of messing that up. And like, now I'm on a totally different path. Didn't lead me to all these things that I do love. So like maybe I could see watching a year earlier couldn't mess up the future that much, right?
It was such but the one thing I will say about you missing all of like that is just, granted you were there for the 40 buildup, but I look back at a lot of that and I find myself longing for it. It's one of those of like, you don't know what the good days are until the good days are over. And I'm not someone that bashes what's happening right now at all, but it's definitely, different from what I was experiencing at that time. And also being new in the space and new to streaming. And it was so much fun. I looked forward to watching every single week. It was so fun to talk with everybody. Nobody had really anything bad to say. It was just dopamine all the time. And then when it started changing this last year, it was okay. All right. I long for it. I miss it. I feel like an addict of like, I'm jonesing for that hit of like that bloodline 23. I'm like, oh man, I miss it.
Yeah. I even have fonder memories of like WrestleMania 39 with no context. I feel like I enjoyed more than the most recent WrestleMania, which is so strange to me.
Agreed.
I would have thought with the context of it, you would think no matter what, I would like the new. But there was something like WrestleMania 40. Man, me and Tally were on a high from the week prior, the week after. Every time we'd take our dog for a walk, we're walking down, we're like, God, I can't believe WrestleMania is in like 4 days. Like, this is so sick. Like, this is going to be huge. And then the week after, it's like, dude, I'm still riding the high from that ending. I'm riding the high from Bailey winning. I'm riding the high from the cash in. It felt so much like this is what I feel like a WrestleMania is supposed to feel like with so little to compare it to. And then a year goes by, and then the next one, I feel like I had psyched myself up thinking like, here we go again. Here's the next WrestleMania. And I remember, I think it was probably like halfway through it because I'm streaming this one. I wasn't streaming WrestleMania 40 and I'm streaming WrestleMania 41. And I remember thinking like halfway through the first like show, I'm like, feels different. Like, why don't I don't feel like any of those, I don't want to say moments because I don't want it to just be like shock me, like kind of like give me a moment to react to. But it didn't feel like there was like, I didn't care as much about a lot of like the story that was going on. Whereas a year prior, I was so locked in, like every like little promo, every little teaser. Like I remember being locked in on even the short promos of like, of Bailey overhearing her friends in Damage Control talking shit about her. Cause I'm like, who can't relate to that? Who can't relate to walking into a room and it gets a little bit quieter? And maybe they were talking about you, maybe they weren't, but like, who can't relate to like something so simple like that? Like that's such a good segment. Like it was
every
so
story
little,
was locked in.
Like,
yeah.
Right. It was like everything's clicking, like and her switching and picking, yeah, like I just don't feel like there was a ton of those moments. Now, granted, the most recent Mania, it had a couple like big moments,
absolutely.
Like the main event of absolutely. There was still like really cool stuff, but yeah, I think you were alluding to this earlier, where you felt bad for anyone whose first show was WrestleMania 40, because like that feels like, I feel like now I'm kind of getting, that's a rarity.
It was one of those once in a lifetime. That's a right. Mania 7. Well, it's like a Mania 17. It's like a Mania 3. It's a Mania 19. There's only so many.
I totally get those references.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, totally. Like
I love that you don't. Let me tell you right now. Let me tell you right now. It is the most refreshing, best thing that you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Sure I've watched over like 500 matches that have been submitted. I'm sure plenty of them were from those WrestleManias, but like I can't piece anything. Like I've seen so many random matches from random things, so I'm sure I've seen some from those, like if there are like super memorable ones, but I have no idea.
I never know either. People ask me, what was your favorite match from this? And there again, 17 and 19 are like the two that I know. I think I know 25, 33, 38 up until now, and that's barely.
Give me a list of the matches, and if they stand out, I'll tell you.
Right. What's your favorite match of all time? You know how many matches there are? You want me to pick one? I have no idea.
I don't know what my top 5 this week are. I don't know. Like, there's no way.
It changes all the time. What was your first WWE show that you went to live?
That was SummerSlam, Detroit.
It was SummerSlam Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, that got announced like a month after we started watching wrestling. So we're like, we gotta go. Like it's gonna be. And now I'm so glad we did. If we had been like, maybe we're not gonna be. We bought it before we were that hooked. By the way.
So you were just like, it's in. It's close. It's in Ford Field. I'm going.
I'm so grateful I did, because now I've got the context of like, I don't know if they're gonna put a PLE in Michigan ever again, or like anytime soon. Like, you know what I mean? You gotta kind of. You got to take it when you, like, if it's going to be close, and that's why, like, I totally get when I think it was WrestlePalooza. Maybe not necessarily referring to like the show, but you kind of were like, F it. Like, I'm going. Like,
it was in my home state. It's in an area and an arena I'm familiar with. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go ever again next year. I really don't.
Yeah. It's irresponsible to think this way, but like so many decisions we've made regarding going to shows, like we could barely squeeze in the ability to go to All In Texas. That was it was a very short, very quick decision that was made. AEW was kind enough to invite us and give us like tickets, but like the stuff that was like around it, it's AEW, so like the tickets aren't even the expensive part, like compared to everything. You know what I mean? So it's like that's very. So, but it was kind of like maybe that's the inch that we needed. Like maybe we just go for it. Maybe we think in this way of like, I feel like in 6 months I'm not going to look back and be like, man, I wish I had that little bit that money back. I'm going to be like, I'm so glad we took a chance and we went and we did something that we're never going to forget. And I'm so glad we did. We were so close to not. It was such a, like we did the thing. She was scared to click the button to book the airline. Like,
been
we
there.
Let's am
I booking this ticket? And then you press
see the number and you're like, this is so much money. And it's like, I don't regret it. Like I get, especially while you can, because it's like health wise too. You never know when you're not going to be able to do stuff like that again. So like,
you guys think exactly the way I do. You do.
Yeah,
people give me a hard time.
Recognize, and you can recognize that this is irresponsible financially, and this could put me in a bad spot.
1,000%.
Like my car breaks down a week later, I'm screwed.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I try to be transparent about that with people too, because people don't. There's a narrative out there currently, and I do want people to know. If you can swing it and have the experiences, and it's not going to hurt you, and it's not going to put you in a really bad place, do it.
Yep.
But like, I've done some really financially irresponsible things. I will not lie to you. I've done some really financially irresponsible things. I'm not getting put up at all of these events that I go to. I pay for them. So you do need to be very, very smart. But I will say I have not regretted a single show that I have gone to. We
paid for every WWE PLE we've been to, and that adds up so quick, especially when you got to travel. Like when we went to like the Rumble, that was another one where it was like, it's close. It's the Royal Rumble. It's while we're still really into this. And we've had the conversation of maybe one day we're not going to like wrestling. Like maybe this is going to be something that we're not into in 10 years. Like, oh, remember when we used to watch a ton of wrestling? I want these memories. I want, and this is why I'm so glad. There's some things you don't like about how content creating influences the way you perceive wrestling. Yeah. But like, I wouldn't have these like clips and these vlogs and these things that I'm going to be like in my 60s. And I'm going to be looking up on YouTube my vlog from when I was when I was 30, when me and Tally took a trip, and I made a vlog about it, and people used to comment on it. Like, that's how I look at it. Is like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to have this. I'm going to be motivated to vlog it. I'm going to edit it, and I'm always going to have that. I'm always going to have like my reaction to this moment or something. So it's so pricey, but like
at the end of the day, it's for you.
Swing it.
If you can swing it, and you can make it happen.
And now I feel like it has reached the edge of like, I don't think I can swing it. And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Now, like, because I want to go to my first WrestleMania. I ain't going to WrestleMania anytime soon. Like, unless something drastically changes or you get like invited or something, as long as it's out of pocket and it's nowhere near Michigan, which sounds like it's going to be in like Vegas and in places like that for a while, where it's not going to be near me. I don't see me doing that anytime soon. Maybe that was part of the reason why I'm like, man, maybe we need to go to All In before like AEW blows up to a point where we can't afford that or something.
I think that's a lot of us. I think that's a lot of people why we did, because it was like, oh man, our live events just in general not going to be possible for normal people anymore. Okay, well let's go to AEW, because I'm sure you can agree with this. I love live shows too. I know you said that. I love the energy of a live show. I don't care where it is. I don't care what promotion it is. I'll go to an indie show. I'll go to AEW. I don't care. They are so much fun. They're so funny. Wrestling fans live are the most hilarious, goofy group of people you'll ever meet in your entire life. And being able to give that energy to a smaller crowd, I love. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. And I don't.
I'm going to an indie show today. I vibe with that. I totally get what you're saying. We literally we're going tonight to our local. We haven't been to it in a while, but
what's the promotion?
CCW. It's like City Championship Wrestling through. There was a WWID prospect that was going there when we first started watching. So that was kind of like oh cool, we'll come check this out, and like must be like a decent, like a big promotion or something. It was like in the back of like a trade center. It's like, dude, this is cool.
Hell yeah!
Like this is just a bunch of people that just want to do this. Like this is.
For the love of the game, you have to appreciate it, dude. You have to appreciate it.
You can just, and you look around, you're like, this dude like has work in the morning, and he just took that bump. Like he just got thrown out of the ring, landed on a tarp. You know, like it's incredible like to see people like I know it's not what we were talking about. But
no,
like,
it's fine. That's what I mean. Like the stuff flows, and this is what for you to have just started watching 2 years ago and to embrace the entire culture the way that you have. There are people that have been watching WWE their entire life that have never seen an indie event, that don't know that there are more avenues of wrestling out there outside of just WWE.
The comments, okay. I don't have a burner account on any platform.
Oh, you need to get one.
But the type of account, or sorry, the type of comment that makes me want to, so I can go off on someone. Anytime there's a cool thing that happens at an indie show, and 10 people went wild, and they got paid a hot dog and $10.
Oh, hot dog and a handshake. That's original.
Like, dude. It's the same people who are like are bashing AEW for what the hard cam side looks like at a show, and they look at an indie show and like it's like, dude, you're not even trying to think even like briefly critically, and it's so frustrating. Like I can't get like this upset by this, but like especially when you're talking about like these indie shows, it's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. Like to crap on the things that they're doing because they're not famous doing it, or because they're not becoming millionaires doing it. Mm-hmm. Like, have you never done something because you love doing it? Because it sounds like you haven't. If your reaction is, yeah, and nobody saw it and nobody cares and you're not getting paid for it, you've never done something. You've never uploaded a video knowing it's going to get 10 views.
That's how we're here.
You've never
streamed to an audience of 0. I have.
Yes, you've never gone live to 3 people and one's your fiance and the other's your phone.
Yes. Yep.
Like you've never done that. If all you do is measure that on your no profile picture ass account with no content, it's so frustrating. Those types of people exist. And I'm not good at not letting it get to me after I see it enough. And I have to like disassociate or disengage from a lot of these platforms because people are just so damn mean for
no reason. I have a difficult time don't apologize. That's real. I have a very difficult time with people that are confidently wrong. And I have a very difficult time with people that are confident about things they shouldn't be confident about, because it just shows how small-minded they are. For example, like the first thing that came into mind when you say, oh, look, they did that and it was in front of 10 people. And you're a WWE fan, all you watch is WWE. The majority of people that are part of that company and that have built that company to what it is currently were people that did that in front of 20 people in the middle of BFE. Seth Rollins is one of them. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Bayley.
You would have never said that to Tyler Black before he became Seth Rollins. Like,
and those clips are ones that you can go back and find now. And yeah, he was a scrawny little shit. He was. Yeah, they all did it. They all did it. John Cena did it. John Cena. Which
people just spawned in and started in WWE, and that was like those are the people that did it right. Like it's
like no, a lot of them.
It's very frustrating, but it's also a vocal minority. I hope. I tell myself it's a vocal minority. God, I hope it's a vocal minority because like it feels like it because
it is.
I don't see this in like when I go to shows, I never encounter these people. These people who talk like this, they don't go to shows. They don't support shows. They don't go to indies. They don't do any of this. They consume via clips and whatever their mainstream outlet is, and then they regurgitate whatever mainstream platform they heard an opinion on. So like going to shows, totally different experience. I've overheard some people say some toxic stuff, but I feel like it's them talking. Like I've heard specifically going to some shows, a lot of nasty talk about like women's wrestling while it's happening. That's one thing I think has not been corrected. I don't think we've completely aged out of that. It might not be as bad as it used to be. Maybe people weren't as open about it. But I took my mom to a show. I took my mom to her first wrestling show. I made a whole video about it. She was so excited to be in it. She's a performer. I think that's where I got it growing up, wanting to be a theater kid. She's like, okay, how should I pose for the thumbnail?
I love her.
Do I do this? I have like 10 thumbnail poses from her that I'll never delete because she was trying so hard. And I know she was trying to do it for me. Like I'll never delete those. I'll keep them.
I love that.
She's like, okay. Because we did it before the show. She's like, okay, what if like I'm scared? What if I go? And
I'm like, dude,
it was adorable. Anyway, I take her to the show and a couple a couple rows behind us. I'm not even gonna say what wrestler they were talking about, but they were definitely they were saying some really mean stuff about their appearance, about their size, and it didn't help that they were a woman. So that the wrestler was also a woman. So they were combining all of these like phrases. They were hitting combos of just pure insults of like, oh, this is your bathroom match. Here's your, and it's like, I wonder how many people sitting around them, because I'm not going to start something, especially around my mom. I'm not going to start a confrontation where my mom is there and she's going to have to deal with that as well. But I'm like, I hear that. We heard it at SummerSlam at our first show as well. Actually,
I did as
one
well.
dude, one guy told him to shut the F up, and it got a pop out of the area.
Hell yeah.
And the guy kind of stopped. So that was kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
But like, I'm also not going to do that when I'm with Tally. I'm not going to, I probably would I would probably find myself putting myself in a situation I don't want to be in because of how frustrating it is to hear it in person. If I wasn't with other people where I'm like, I don't want to put them in this like weird thing where, because this dude could be drunk. I'm not going to tell him to shut up. And then now he's behind me for the next 2.5 hours. He's out of my sight. He's out of her sight.
You just never know. You have to be so careful. People are so unpredictable, and I hate it too, because I want to be able to say it as well as a woman. I don't want to do it, but a lot of the time I'm by myself. Like I have friends that are in the arena, but we don't buy seats together. We didn't go together. So they're God knows where. I'm by myself. I'm not going to put myself in a position to not only have someone pull out a camera and record whatever happens and it gets posted on the internet, but also I don't want to get harmed by some drunk dude. You know, got to be careful. But
the first time I got recognized at a show was also the time where like, okay, also probably don't want to get into something and then have that be taken out of context and like, oh, he told some fan to shut the F up or whatever. But yeah, when my mom was having to hear that, and I had to kind of like throw in next, like, most people aren't like that. Like, I don't know why he's being like that. Like, it's like, I don't want to like draw more attention to it in case she's not hearing everything they're saying. But I also don't want to like ignore it and then come off like complacent. You know, I don't want to come off like, that, you know, that we all think that way. Cause like it can come off that way if no one says anything.
It can.
I'm hoping it's more people that are like me, that are just a little too uncomfortable and not wanting to start a confrontation that someone who's crazy enough to talk like that in public and yell like that, you don't know what their next step could be, especially if they've had a few drinks in them or something like that. So
I think it's more of that. I think it's more of people just aware of how, you know, people can be in the world and how the state of things are, and they don't want to put themselves in a position to not only endanger themselves but the ones around them. And there are the good ones. Like I've been with some of the biggest dudes in the world, and they'll be the ones that are like, hey, shut the fuck up. Yep. And they shut the fuck up. But I do it, and then they're like, oh, the blood. Yeah, we're not dealing with that. I want zero part of that. But I do think that I see more good than bad. I see way more good than bad. I think sometimes the loudness of the badness just overtakes. I think that the wrestling space has changed for the better, and I think that can be attributed to not only the women that are a part of professional wrestling, but more people openly being able to be fans of it as women as well. And people, you know, men like you that are cool as hell and think that stuff like that is not okay. Because I get people that roll through the chat that they want to talk like that. They're like, I don't get so offended now. And it's like, no, it's just kind of mean. Like, no.
I hate Tally having to hear that at shows as well. Like it was at SummerSlam, it was the what was the match? It was a triple threat. It was Bianca. Io. It wasn't Charlotte, I don't think. What was the third? Bianca, Io. No, Io cashed in. It wasn't Io.
Io cashed in. It wasn't Io, but because Bianca won.
Yeah, and she cashed in. I can't remember that whole match anymore.
I can't either. I think Charlotte was in it.
Was she?
I think.
Hold on.
Oh, it's going to drive me nuts. Look it up. Because the other one, I thought you were going to say Ronda and Shayna, and I was like, I was ready to swing on people during that.
Oh, okay. Just look at the card. Io defeated Bianca. Okay, that's after. So it was. Oh, you're right. It was Bianca pinned Asuka and Charlotte was the third. Asuka and Charlotte.
That's who I couldn't think.
So anyway, least important part of this story, but it was gonna drive me nuts.
No, if I can't come up with it, I have to look too. I'm like, wait, no, I don't remember. I gotta look.
Yeah, through the comments during it, like people, you hear like a couple people trying to start like a "this is boring" chant before it's even started. This is also how I learned the phrase "puppies" in wrestling. That was the first time I had heard that.
Oh, Jerry.
And
Jerry.
Is that come from Jerry Lawler?
Mm-hmm.
Is that so he started that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I've heard his commentary at a lot of older matches. I'm not surprised.
Oh my God, it drives me nuts now. I never realized as a kid, but I listen now and I'm like, oh my God, Jerry.
Yep. They say some wild stuff on commentary on these older matches.
Wild.
But yeah, hearing that, I drive me nuts hearing Tally hear it because I know she hears it and she brings it up. I could tell she's gonna see this. I know she watches anything. I know she's gonna see this. I can tell when we're watching a show. I can tell when someone around her is bothering her because I know how she reacts when she's enjoying a show, and I know how she clams up a little bit and she kind of shells up a little bit when someone is clearly making her uncomfortable. And that's usually when I'll try. That
is when the bear comes out in me.
Mm-hmm. I try to step in a little bit, try to let's do a little bit, let's enjoy this. Don't worry about him kind of thing. I know that was happening there. I know it's happened in other shows, and it drives me nuts that there are people that pay money to go to these events, especially WWE ones, because that's not cheap. You pay a lot of money to go and complain in person. That's crazy.
There are so many where SummerSlam, the row behind me, I had a lot of people that didn't know what was happening and that were talking all kinds of mess. And I'm like, I know what I paid for this ticket. It wasn't over crazy, but it also wasn't. There's no, why did you pay this much money to come here and talk like this? You
committed your Saturday to bitching. That's crazy.
What? That's insanity. I was row 11 on the floor. You paid this to talk mess, girl.
Yep.
And it was a woman too. I'm like, girl, you need to go.
It's easy to spot too. I did a video not long ago. I took a non-wrestling fan to Monday Night Raw, and he even mentioned a little bit in the video, but he talked more about it off camera where it was, what's that?
I want to do that really badly.
It's cool. He had heard, he could hear somebody a few rows behind us. It wasn't about women's, he was just complaining about everything. Everything was going on. And after the show, he's like, dude, the dude just didn't want to be happy. He just didn't want to hear. So even a non-wrestling fan plopped in completely out of context can recognize. He's like, why did he come to the show? He didn't like anything, everything he had, he had a criticism or a complaint. And it's why did you pay all that money to come to the show? Those were solid tickets. That dude paid money.
That's how he gets his entertainment, is hating on things. They're a breed.
I've seen some TikToks of people mocking people kind of like that, not necessarily in the wrestling context, but they'll complain about it and they animate it because they're pretending to be that person. Uh-huh. Oh, this really sucks. And they look around for a reaction. Did you guys agree? Did I get a reaction? Did I get so maybe that's it. Maybe they just want the attention.
It's I call it the hive mind, the echo chamber. If you interact with things online and it gives you a feeling of, I always call it the dopamine kick of feeling like you belong, of being able to collaborate with other people and be like, yeah, we hate this. It's the angry mob mentality of, I don't like this either. You hate this too? Yeah. That's the hate is positive in numbers. And so they'll jump on top of that. We see it a lot right now just in content creation of just people that are just getting on and saying what they've heard a bunch of other people say. And they're like, oh yeah, I hate this too. Don't you agree? Lion. And they're like a club. It's like a club. Yep. I'm not in the cool kids club. I've got my individual things. Okay. Well, I have one more question for you to wrap up and tie a nice little bow on everything. I want to know, as Josh now, with the journey that you've taken the last 2 years, what would you say is the most impactful and most positive thing that you've gotten out of bringing professional wrestling into your life and your wife's life as well, the last 2 years?
Oh, that's a big question. Yeah. So I've talked about this a little bit. I've talked about this a little bit. I've hinted at it in recent videos. I talk about it mostly on stream, mostly because people aren't as toxic in like a live chat
Correct. Yes.
as they are when they can just drop a comment on a YouTube video and then close their tab. I would say I think I found wrestling at the perfect time. I think, everybody has their story. Everybody has their rough eras.
Playing from Wheezy desktop.
Sorry.
Oh, okay. Everybody's got their rough time, and I was going through a really rough patch when right before I watched that random WrestleMania. It was a really dark era, a place I never want to go back to. And there was something about having something that was on every week to look forward to. Every Monday there was something to look forward to. They got the show on Friday. There's a big special event every month. I think the most I've gotten from wrestling was getting yanked out of that place and finding a brand new thing in my 30s to be passionate about, which I feel like people are really resistant to trying new things as they get older. You get comfortable and you stick to your routines. And I'm so glad that I did that, because now I'm doing everything I'm doing now. We're traveling to places we would have never gone to. And I'll say that's like my secondary answer is all the travel. I never really had an excuse or a desire to go. We used to kind of go places because they had nice zoos. That was like our motivation to let's try this city because there's a nice zoo, and Tyler's really into animals, and I'm more of an aquarium guy, but I like seeing her happy, so we go to the zoo. But finding something simultaneously, by the way, neither one. People always ask me, "Did you get her into it, or we watch?" The first thing we watched was exactly at the same time. We fell in love with it at the same time. So no one has ever. We've never had to convince each other to go to a show or to go do something wrestling related, which is super, super bad for the bank account, because neither one of us will say no if we're like, should we do the meet and greets? And neither one of us wants to be like the one to be like, no, we should really no, we got to meet Io Sky. We got to meet Jey Uso or something.
I'd be in big trouble if my husband was as big of a fan as I, because we also are each other's hype. We'd be so broke, because he'd be like, yeah, do that. He types me up on everything. He's like, yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah. So the combination of just finding it at the right time, and being able to, if I just compare it, it's actually I didn't really even think of it like this, but like being in such a dark place that I was to now wanting to travel is such a wide thing, because usually when you're either going through something or you're depressed or whatever, you don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to do anything.
Yep.
So now to have the desire to leave the country to watch a wrestling show in Toronto, it's just such a crazy contrast over only 2 years. So, I think that's part of why, I've tried to introduce it to more people. And that's kind of been I don't want to say it's been like the motivation of the channel, but it's definitely been, it's been like a side project of I like telling people about hey, I was like you, I thought this way, just try it. Just give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
And just see how it makes you feel. If you think it's stupid after, fine, but at least you tried it. Or even if you just think, oh, it's kind of cool, but it's not really for me, that's fine too. So I guess I want to, I'm never going to be someone that's going to be like, hey, wrestling saved me. A lot of things could have saved, anything could have come around at that time. It just happened to be WWE. It just happened to be pro wrestling. And now that I kind of I don't mean to ramble on this. I know.
No, you're absolutely fine. That's the point, man.
I also have used it to kind of encourage people just to try something new. It doesn't mean you don't have to like the thing that worked for me. But if there is anybody that is kind of feeling like you are in that rough patch, you feel like you've been in it longer than you usually are, and it feels like it's not going to go away, you'd be so surprised how much trying something new, instead of trying to go back to something that used to make you happy that just doesn't anymore, you'd be so surprised how taking a random stab at something, that freshness, that fresh dopamine instead of one that you used to get, it can really, it does wonders. So that's kind of why I've been trying to be, I'm very pro, try something new.
No matter what it is.
No matter what, even if it's not wrestling.
Absolutely, 100%.
So that's why. So we've done like the traveling. We've tried going to cons. Like, is it short for conventions?
Yeah, cons. I'm a con girl now. Conventions. Yeah.
go to that stuff. Go to indie shows or go to just go to stuff. Try it.
And I resonate so much with what you're saying. Thank you for sharing all of that, because I think more people need to hear of just being open-minded to trying new things, because we get our needles stuck of being one way, and I'm thinking this way, and I'm only going to do this. And in your 30s, it's even harder because you have decades worth of habits and wrongfully thinking that you're this person and you're not allowed to change, when you change so much. You change so very much. And doing all of the things and all the scary things and all the different things I've done, and I don't even attribute it to one particular niche or anything, but all those things absolutely saved my life. I don't know who I would be or where I would be if I hadn't started making myself uncomfortable, because after a while, you kind of realize, wow, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, I don't know who I am. And so that whole journey opens up of, okay, well, now I have the freedom to decide what I want to do and who I am. Who is that person? And I think that would save a lot of brains out there. We're complicated, fleshy meat suits, man. We really are.
And and double down on the whole, it feels like it's so much harder when you're older too, because you're probably working, you're probably in a routine where you don't have a large window of free time to try something new. So it can be scary to like waste your time, feel like you're potentially going to waste your time on something you have no interest in. But I do like talking about that, because I feel like too many people try to hide that they've felt that way or they feel that way. And I feel like when everybody's trying to hide it, nobody's acknowledging that it exists. And I think there's like a comfort in knowing that, maybe the YouTuber that you watch that you find comfort in, that has brought you joy during this, maybe it helps to kind of relate that, you're not the only one dealing with that kind of stuff. If there are people who are just really good at hiding it, and those are the people you need to check up on. So
that part, yep.
Just don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to talk about when you're struggling, and definitely try new things, man. It's more fun than it sounds like. It sounds scary.
And it sounds scary. It is scary. Do it anyway.
It's rewarding.
Do it anyway. You get one chance, one opportunity.
I think more people regret not doing something than doing something. So
1000%. Absolutely. I can agree with that. Good advice to live by. Thank you for sharing.
I don't remember what your question was or how we got to that topic, but
you can look back later. That's why that's the point of them. That's the point of them. It opens up the spider veins of like, actually, it makes me think these 4 different things. What one do you latch onto? You did great. Josh, thank you for sharing. Can you let everyone know where they can find you if they want to watch more of you?
I'm Deporticus on just about everything. I'm primarily on YouTube and live on Twitch, but I'm occasionally in other places. I've got the Patreon, like you mentioned, but Discord. Thankfully, I have a unique username so that it's not. I don't have to put any underscores or numbers or anything. So wherever you happen to be on the internet, Deporticus, I'm probably there.
Make sure you guys check him out. Thank you for sharing. We'll see you in the next one. Go Lions. One pride.
One pride.